When Quantum Meets the Spirituality. Welcome to the Middle Book. In this audiobook, we'll explore how scientific advancements are revealing a fascinating convergence between quantum mechanics and spiritual and philosophical concepts, something unimaginable just a few years ago. Let's dive into this intriguing fusion and see what it's all about. Introduction. The line that formerly divided the ideas of spirituality from the study of quantum mechanics is getting thinner as science progresses. These limits may have disappeared, or at least appear to have been greatly eroded, as this convergence shows. One of the cornerstones of physics is the theory of quantum mechanics, which offers a thorough framework for comprehending the behavior of matter and energy at the tiniest sizes, usually atoms and subatomic particles. With the introduction of ideas like superposition, entanglement, and wave-particle duality, this theory has fundamentally changed our understanding of the physical universe. These events, which were formerly believed to belong only to the scientific realm, have qualities in common with a number of philosophical and spiritual beliefs. However, the study of spiritual consciousness delves into profound experiences and awareness states that are not related to everyday cognitive processes. Religious, philosophical, and meditative traditions frequently recount these experiences, which provide insights into the nature of existence, the self, and the cosmos. In the past, spirituality and science have been seen as distinct fields of study, with spirituality being based on metaphysical ideas and personal experience, and science being grounded in scientific data. Recent developments, however, point to potential points of convergence and commonalities between these two disciplines. For example, the spiritual idea of interconnectedness, that everything in the cosmos is intricately connected, is reflected in the principle of quantum entanglement, which describes how particles become intertwined so that the condition of one instantly affects the state of another, regardless of distance. The concept of superposition bears similarities to the spiritual idea of the potentiality and oneness of existence, as particles exist in different states simultaneously until they are observed. Scientific studies in the realm of consciousness are delving deeper into the potential connections between meditation, brain function, and quantum processes. For instance, a study by Lazar et al. 2005 used MRI to demonstrate that meditation can alter brain structure. They found increased cortical thickness in areas related to attention and sensory processing in long-term meditators compared to non-meditators. This suggests that meditative practices can lead to altered states of consciousness, which some scientists believe might be linked to quantum processes in the brain. The theory of orchestrated objective reduction, OR, proposed by Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, suggests that quantum processes occur in the microtubules of neurons, potentially playing a role in consciousness. Although this theory is still debated, it represents a significant attempt to link quantum mechanics with brain function. Another study by Fisher, 2015, explored the concept of quantum cognition, proposing that certain aspects of neural processing might involve quantum computing principles. This research suggests that the human brain may operate using quantum-like processes, offering a new perspective on consciousness. These recent advances in quantum mechanics are blurring the once clear division between science and spirituality. As science progresses, it not only deepens our understanding of the physical universe, but also opens new pathways to explore profound questions traditionally addressed by spiritual and philosophical traditions. This convergence invites a more holistic view of reality, where scientific inquiry and spiritual wisdom can complement and enrich each other. Chapter 1. What did Newtonian physics tell us? Before diving deeper into this analysis, it's essential to examine the Newtonian perspective that has governed our understanding for the past century. Newtonian physics, with its clear and predictable laws, continues to influence many aspects of our world. However, this framework has been challenged and supplemented by the advent of quantum mechanics, propelled by the groundbreaking work of Einstein, Bohr, Heisenberg, and other notable scientists in the early 20th century. While Newtonian physics provides a solid foundation for understanding the macroscopic world, the strange and often counterintuitive principles of quantum mechanics have introduced new dimensions to our understanding, casting doubt on some classical assumptions and opening up a realm of possibilities that bridge the gap between the physical and the metaphysical. In the Newtonian worldview, everything is seen as separate and real. The universe is perceived as a collection of distinct entities interacting according to the laws of motion and gravity. In this framework, people are viewed as isolated from one another, much like individual rocks. Newton's perspective also treats time as linear, with past, present, and future as distinct yet causally related segments. This worldview aligns closely with our everyday common sense understanding of reality, where objects and people are discrete entities that interact physically. This Newtonian paradigm, though incredibly useful and foundational for classical physics, extends its influence beyond science into the broader fabric of society. It shapes our perception of individuality and separateness, underpinning how we view ourselves and our relationships with others. This mechanistic view of the universe also influences various societal domains, including religion, where the separation between the material and spiritual, the self and the other, is often emphasized. Predictability in Newtonian physics. In Newtonian physics, the universe operates like a vast, intricate machine where everything is predictable. This deterministic view is based on the idea that if you know the initial conditions and the laws governing the parts of a system, you can predict the behavior of the whole system with certainty. This concept, often encapsulated in the phrase, "If you know about the parts, you can know about the whole," reflects the foundational principles of classical mechanics. Newtonian physics, characterized by its deterministic framework, is built upon Newton's laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation. These laws, encompassing principles of inertia, force, acceleration, and action and reaction, provide a comprehensive foundation for predicting the motion of objects. This predictability is exemplified in celestial mechanics, where the positions and motions of planets can be accurately forecasted based on gravitational forces. Scientific data further supports this predictability, as seen in classical mechanics' ability to accurately predict phenomena like pendulum and projectile motion. These principles find wide-ranging applications in engineering, architecture, and the automotive and aerospace industries, where predictive models based on Newtonian mechanics ensure stability, safety, and precision in design and operation. Mathematical mirrors. Newtonian physics is grounded in mathematical principles and logical premises, asserting that even the most complex phenomena are ultimately governed by logical principles and mathematical relationships. This framework reflects the conviction that beneath the apparent chaos of the world lies an elegant order waiting to be deciphered. In this worldview, the most basic laws and equations serve as the building blocks upon which we construct our understanding of reality. By grasping these foundational principles, we unlock the ability to foresee and anticipate the unfolding of events on a grand scale. Consider the example of celestial mechanics. By applying Newton's laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation, astronomers can predict the movements of planets, moons, and stars with remarkable precision. This predictive power stems from a deep understanding of the underlying mathematical relationships governing the motions of celestial bodies. Though they provide strong instruments for investigation and forecasting, logic and mathematics have drawbacks as well. Even with all of its complexity and intricacy, the universe might not always fit neatly into our mathematical models. Our ability to completely understand and forecast the dynamics of the world around us may be hampered by uncertainties, randomness, and emergent qualities. Even so, the search for knowledge is still a worthy and inspiring undertaking. With the help of reason and math, we are able to probe further into the mysteries of the universe, discovering new wonders and extending the limits of human understanding. We are constantly motivated to move on in this journey by the pursuit of truth and understanding, which serves as a constant reminder of the infinite potential of the human intellect. The orderly universe of matter and forces. In Newtonian physics, the universe is conceived as being composed of matter and the forces acting upon it. Matter, in this framework, can be divided into smaller and smaller particles, down to the level of atoms and subatomic particles. According to this view, all particles and the matter they constitute, from the tiniest grains of sand to the largest celestial bodies, adhere to the same set of classical physics laws. Newtonian physics posits that these particles and bodies are influenced by forces such as gravity, electromagnetism, and other fundamental interactions. Newton's laws of motion describe how these forces affect the motion and behavior of objects. For instance, Newton's first law, the law of inertia, states that an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion unless acted upon by an external force. Newton's second law, FMA, quantifies how the force applied to an object relates to its mass and acceleration. Newton's third law, action and reaction, explains that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This deterministic view of the world suggests that one can accurately anticipate the future behavior of any given particle or item by knowing the forces and initial conditions operating upon it. Newtonian physics is known for its predictability, which enables scientists to compute anything from a cannonball's trajectory to planet orbits. A vast variety of physical phenomena have been remarkably well explained and predicted by the reductionist method of Newtonian physics, which divides complicated systems into their more manageable components. It serves as the basis for developments in engineering, astronomy, and many other domains, and it supports a large portion of classical science and technology. Though Newtonian physics is excellent at explaining the macroscopic universe, it is limited when applied to very small scales or very high velocities, where quantum mechanics and relativity offer better explanations. However, the core ideas of Newtonian physics continue to be essential to our comprehension of the cosmos, portraying a world in which the fundamental laws regulating matter and forces give rise to order and predictability. The perceptible universe. Newtonian physics is deeply intertwined with the notion that reality is defined by what we can perceive through our 5 sensory channels: sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. This classical framework assumes that the universe is composed of tangible matter and forces that can be directly or indirectly observed and measured. In this view, if something cannot be perceived through our senses or detected with the aid of scientific instruments, it is often considered beyond the realm of practical existence. Newtonian physics thrives on the measurable and the observable, emphasizing that the physical world operates according to predictable laws and principles. For instance, we can observe the motion of a falling apple or the orbit of a planet, and describe these phenomena using Newton's laws of motion and gravitation. These laws provide a comprehensive understanding of the macroscopic world, grounded in empirical observation and experimentation. The reliability of Newtonian physics stems from its ability to predict and explain sensory perceptible phenomena with remarkable accuracy. However, this sensory-based perspective has its limitations. While Newtonian physics excels at explaining the behavior of objects we can see and touch, it struggles with phenomena that lie beyond direct sensory experience. For example, the behavior of particles at the quantum level, which are too small to be seen, often defies the deterministic principles of classical mechanics. Quantum mechanics reveals a layer of reality that is not immediately accessible to our senses, challenging the Newtonian assertion that unperceived phenomena do not exist. Moreover, advances in technology have extended our sensory capabilities, allowing us to perceive and measure things previously considered imperceptible. Instruments like telescopes and microscopes reveal the vastness of the cosmos and the intricacies of microscopic life, expanding the boundaries of what we consider real. Chapter 2. From Newton to Quantum. The change from Newtonian to quantum physics represents a significant breakthrough in our knowledge of the cosmos, similar to the Industrial Age's revolutionary influence. Often called the Newtonian Age, the 18th through the 20th centuries saw the development of technology, remarkable growth, and vast amounts of wealth production. New discoveries brought forth by human progress are not easily explained by Newtonian physics. The deterministic and predictable framework of Newtonian mechanics was challenged by a new physics that emerged at the beginning of the 20th century. This new era of scientific thinking was ushered in by Albert Einstein's theory of relativity and the following development of quantum physics. The most conceptually fundamental of these revolutionary ideas is quantum physics, which describes the universe in terms of complexity, uncertainty, unpredictability, and self-organization. A world where particles can exist simultaneously in numerous states, where their precise positions and velocities cannot be known with absolute certainty, and where observation itself plays a fundamental role in molding reality, is revealed by quantum physics, which presents a stark contrast to the Newtonian perspective. This paradigm change has significant ramifications for our comprehension of both the vast world we live in and the tiny world. The impact of quantum physics extends far beyond theoretical science. It has revolutionized technology, giving rise to innovations that shape and define 21st century life. Technologies such as semiconductors, lasers, and quantum computing all stem from principles rooted in quantum mechanics, illustrating how this new paradigm permeates various aspects of modern existence. The transition to quantum physics represents the birth of a new paradigm as powerful and transformative as the Newtonian paradigm it is replacing. It invites us to rethink fundamental concepts about the nature of reality, causality, and interconnectedness. As we navigate the complexities and uncertainties of the quantum world, we are also compelled to reconsider the philosophical and practical frameworks that govern our lives. We were formerly taught that electrons were solid, indivisible objects that behaved predictably along predetermined trajectories by Newtonian physics, with its precise and deterministic principles. This knowledge was drastically altered by the development of quantum physics, which showed that electrons are actually constituted of energy packets called quanta, rather than physical particles. These explosive energy bursts challenge our preconceived ideas about matter and reality by constituting the fundamental structure of the universe. Quantum mechanics is based on the stunning realization that everything is essentially made of energy. Scientists have shown that electrons, which orbit the atomic nucleus, do not follow set pathways through innovative experiments. Rather than existing independently, they are found in electron clouds, which are composed of different orbitals and shells surrounding the nucleus. This indicates that an electron's position is not definitive until it is observed. Rather, it lives in a state of potentiality, embodying both particle and wave-like features. The idea of superposition is among quantum physics' most astounding discoveries. This principle argues that a single electron can exist simultaneously in several locations, a phenomenon that violates classical intuition. An electron is really a cloud of probability rather than a single definite journey. The well-known double-slit experiment, in which electrons display both wave and particle properties contingent upon whether they are viewed, embodies this concept. Further complicating matters is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It asserts that an electron's precise position and momentum cannot be known concurrently with perfect precision. The deterministic laws of Newtonian physics stand in stark contrast to the probabilistic character of the quantum universe, which is underscored by this intrinsic uncertainty. These findings have significant ramifications for our knowledge of reality in general, as well as for our comprehension of subatomic particles. They contend that observation is essential to ascertaining the state of a system, because, at its most basic, the universe is a huge network of interconnected energy fields. This viewpoint changes our understanding of the universe from one of solid, separate objects to one of dynamic, interconnected patterns of energy. Until something is observed, everything in the quantum world is either pure potential or a multitude of possibilities. Observation reduces these options to a single reality, implying that reality depends on our interpretation of it. There can be no ultimate existence without observation. Our consciousness shapes all we know and encounter. Think about how electrons behave inside of an atom. Electrons go in an arbitrary path in contrast to the regular orbits described in classical physics. Rather, they reside in probabilistic orbitals or energy levels. An electron does not travel through the intermediate region in a typical progressive way as it changes from one energy level to another. Rather, it makes a quantum leap which causes it to instantly change its energy state without going through the intervening space. This occurrence illustrates the special laws regulating the quantum world and violates the logic of progressive evolution. We as human beings are also manifestations of energy. Our existence transcends mere physical form. It includes an energetic dimension characterized by specific frequencies at which we vibrate. These frequencies are intrinsic to our being, forming an integral part of our energy existence. Although we may not routinely perceive this energetic aspect, it is fundamentally primary to our nature. Furthermore, this perspective underscores a profound interconnectedness among all beings. At our core, we share the same energy field, vibrating at different frequencies that give rise to our unique experiences. Despite these differences, the essence of our existence is unified. This shared energy field connects us all, illustrating that beneath the surface of individual experiences lies a common, vibrant energy. Quantum physics reveals a universe where potentiality and interconnectedness are paramount. It challenges us to view reality not as a collection of separate, static objects, but as a dynamic interplay of energy and potential. This paradigm shift invites us to embrace a holistic understanding of existence, where observation and perception play crucial roles in shaping the world around us, and where our interconnected energy fields create a web of shared reality. Chapter 3. The Theological Insights of the Quantum Perspective. A deeper and deeper insight into the interconnectedness of all things is being revealed in both the scientific and spiritual domains. The quantum principle of entanglement, which implies that the traditional distinctions we make between objectivity and subjectivity are essentially arbitrary, is crucial to this discovery. Rather, the things we understand to be distinct entities are entwined in a complex network of mutual reliance. Think about the idea of entanglement in quantum mechanics, wherein particles develop a correlation such that, independent of their distance from one another, the state of one particle instantly affects the state of another. This occurrence exposes a deeper connectivity that goes beyond physical space, challenging our conventional ideas of causality and locality. Similar to this, the interdependence of inner experiences of consciousness and external manifestations in the world is acknowledged in spiritual and philosophical traditions. The line between the self and the other begins to blur when we comprehend that our individual experiences are closely interwoven with the collective awareness of humanity and the cosmos at large. The concept that consciousness permeates existence and is not limited to particular minds emphasizes how everything is inherently one. Our inner states of consciousness and the outside world we see are mutually reinforcing, changing, and affecting one another in an ongoing feedback loop. This viewpoint challenges us to see past the delusion of isolation and acknowledge the deep connectivity that permeates everything that exists. It pushes us to let go of dualistic thinking and adopt a more holistic view of reality, in which the lines between the inner and outward selves and the self vanish into a smooth web of interconnection. Certainly, the Bible contains many passages that support the idea that people are part of God, not apart from Him, particularly when considering Christian theology. It's important to recognize, nevertheless, that various theological perspectives and denominations may have different interpretations of these verses. One example often cited is from the New Testament, specifically in the writings of the Apostle Paul. In the book of Acts 17:28, Paul addresses the Athenians saying, "For in him we live and move and have our being." This verse emphasizes the idea of humans being intimately connected to God, suggesting a unity rather than a separation. Additionally, in the Gospel of John 17:21, Jesus prays for his followers, saying, "That all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me, and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me." This passage highlights the unity between believers and God, mirroring the unity between Jesus and the Father. The concept that humans are united with God, not separate from Him, resonates with the quantum physics postulate of interconnectedness, particularly the principle of entanglement. Just as entanglement suggests that particles can be correlated regardless of distance, indicating a fundamental interconnectedness in the quantum realm, the idea of unity between humans and God reflects a similar interconnectedness in the spiritual realm. Both notions challenge the notion of separation and emphasize a deeper unity and interconnectedness underlying reality. All of the above remains a mere interpretation, yet the parallels between these concepts are undeniably intriguing. Let's examine other such parallels. In the realm of quantum physics, there's a fascinating phenomenon known as the observer effect. This principle posits that the mere act of observing a subatomic particle can alter its behavior. In other words, the physical world is influenced by our thoughts and attention. The observer effect is vividly illustrated by the famous double-slit experiment. In this experiment, particles display the properties of both waves and particles. However, when scientists measure or observe these particles, they collapse into a single state, either as a wave or a particle. This experiment suggests that our consciousness and observation play a pivotal role in shaping the state of the world around us. This idea is quite similar to the proverbial proverb found in Proverbs 23:7, which states, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Numerous spiritual traditions place a strong emphasis on the enormous influence that our intentions and ideas have over the world. This idea is supported by the observer effect in quantum physics, which suggests that our mind has a tangible influence on the physical universe we live in. The potential for our thoughts and observations to influence the very fabric of reality itself is thus suggested by the junction of quantum mechanics and spiritual consciousness. According to the theory of quantum superposition, particles can exist in several states concurrently until they are noticed. Put another way, these particles have the ability to exist in multiple states simultaneously until someone measures or observes them. According to this theory, the universe is full of opportunities, and when we focus on anything, a particular result is selected. This concept is quite similar to several spiritual teachings that stress the idea of endless possibilities or infinite potential. Many spiritual traditions advise people to employ intention and focused thought to manifest their objectives and unlock their inner potential. This spiritual idea has a scientific foundation thanks to quantum superposition, which shows that the world is flexible and full of potential for realization. Bhagavad Gita 6.5. One's own intellect is what elevates, not debases, oneself. The conditioned soul's enemy as well as friend is the mind. This passage supports the idea of utilizing focused thinking to create reality by highlighting the significance of mastering one's mind to attain desired consequences. Chapter 37 of Laozi's Tao Te Ching, Oriental Philosophy, says, "The Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone." The idea behind the Wu-Wei principle, which means effortless action, is that one can easily create desired outcomes by coordinating their goals with the universe's natural flow. In Mark 11:24 it is written, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." This verse suggests that outcomes can be influenced by faith and focused thought, highlighting the importance of intention and belief in manifesting wishes. These quotes encourage us to go after our goals, open our minds to new experiences, and mold the world to fit our purposes, all of which contribute to a life that is more meaningful and purposeful. We can broaden our perspectives to see the enormous possibilities both inside and around us by comprehending and accepting the idea of quantum superposition. Chapter 4. How Quantum Physics Redefines Life and Death. In Newtonian terms, an individual life is terminated by its death, but the realm of quantum physics suggests that the realm of energy is neither created nor destroyed. In classical Newtonian physics, life is seen as a finite phenomenon bound by the physical laws of matter. According to this perspective, an individual's life begins at birth and ends at death, with the physical body ceasing to function and eventually decaying. Newtonian physics operates under the assumption that matter, including living organisms, follows predictable, linear paths, and that death marks the definitive end of an individual's existence. But quantum physics offers a fundamentally new interpretation of the cosmos, especially in relation to energy. The fundamental nature of reality may be far more intricate and interwoven than previously believed, according to quantum mechanics. Energy cannot be generated or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. This idea is central to quantum physics and is expressed in the basic law of thermodynamics. According to the first law of thermodynamics, an isolated system's total energy never changes. This indicates that energy is preserved throughout the universe and just undergoes form changes. For instance, the energy in a dead organism does not disappear. Rather, it changes into various forms such as heat or biochemical energy, and eventually feeds back into the ecosystem's energy cycle. This proves that energy is never truly destroyed. Another fascinating aspect of quantum physics is the discovery that particles, including those that make up living organisms, exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties. This phenomenon, known as wave-particle duality, means that particles are not confined to a single fixed location or state. Instead, they exist as probabilities, only settling into a definite state when observed or measured. This suggests that, at a fundamental level, the essence of what constitutes an individual extends beyond the tangible and measurable. Is this what we spiritually refer to as the soul? Only the progress of science will prove it. Quantum entanglement describes a phenomenon where particles become interconnected in such a way that the state of one particle instantly influences the state of another, regardless of distance. This interconnectedness implies that all particles, including those within our bodies, are part of a larger interwoven quantum web. Therefore, the death of an individual does not signify an end, but rather a transformation within this interconnected system. Studies in biophysics have shown how energy is continuously exchanged within living organisms. For example, the process of cellular respiration converts biochemical energy from nutrients into adenosine triphosphate, ATP, which cells use for various functions. After death, the biochemical energy within cells is released into the environment, contributing to the surrounding ecosystem's energy flow. Upon death, the human body undergoes decomposition, where microorganisms break down tissues, releasing chemical energy. This process releases heat and transfers nutrients back into the soil, demonstrating the transformation and continuity of energy. If the universe is fundamentally composed of energy, and human beings are an integral part of this universe, then according to quantum physics, we can infer that human life does not simply end with death as suggested by Newtonian physics. Instead, it continues on another energetic level that current science has yet to fully understand or demonstrate. This concept, while still a hypothesis, challenges our traditional notions of life and death. It invites us to consider that our essence may persist beyond physical demise, transforming and integrating into the vast, interconnected energy matrix of the cosmos. Quantum mechanics, with its principles of energy conservation and wave-particle duality, hints at a deeper, more complex understanding of existence where death is not an end, but a transition. Although this idea remains within the realm of theoretical exploration, it opens the door to profound possibilities about the nature of life consciousness and the universe itself. This perspective aligns with many philosophical and spiritual traditions that view life as part of an ongoing, interconnected energy cycle. In summary, while Newtonian physics confines life within the boundaries of birth and death, quantum physics broadens this view, proposing that the realm of energy transcends these boundaries. Energy, neither created nor destroyed, continues to exist and transform, suggesting a more intricate and enduring connection between life and the cosmos. Chapter 5. Transcending Matter. On a philosophical level, spirituality embodies the doctrine that the spirit exists independently and distinctly from matter, or more radically, that spirit is the sole prevailing reality. This leads to a broader understanding of spiritualism as a metaphysical belief system that posits the existence of at least two fundamental substances, matter and spirit. In essence, spiritualism invites us to explore the idea that the material world we interact with daily is only part of a larger, more complex reality. It asserts that the spiritual realm, often unseen and intangible, plays a crucial role in shaping our experiences and understanding of the universe. This perspective encourages individuals to look beyond the physical and consider the profound impact of spiritual forces in their lives. Ultimately, spiritualism challenges us to rethink our perception of reality, encouraging a deeper exploration of the metaphysical and a greater appreciation for the spiritual dimensions of our existence. It fosters a sense of interconnectedness and continuity, suggesting that life is a journey that transcends the material world and extends into a more profound spiritual realm. Everything in the universe is made up of subatomic particles, which are microscopic building blocks that combine to make the material world according to quantum physics. All matter ultimately consists of these quanta particles, atoms, molecules, and a fundamental force that ties them together. This raises an interesting point, though. Electromagnetism, more especially photons or light, holds the key to the solution. The process by which electrons are bound to atom nuclei depends critically on light. The strong force and the electromagnetic force are two more fundamental forces that support this bond. These forces work together to help molecules assemble, which then gives rise to the objects we see around us. In essence, this radiating spectrum of electromagnetism, or light, makes up all kinds of matter. The wavelength of electromagnetic radiation affects its properties and behavior. Longer wavelengths are associated with lower frequencies, while shorter wavelengths with higher frequencies. The energy that each quantum of light contains determines how electromagnetic radiation interacts with atoms and molecules. Lower energy quanta may result in less dramatic interactions, whereas high energy quanta may force electrons to travel to higher energy levels or even be ejected from atoms. This framework demonstrates the elegance of the physical principles controlling our cosmos, in addition to emphasizing the role that light plays in the composition and interaction of matter. Through the channel of light, electromagnetic force maintains the atomic and molecular structure of reality together. By comprehending this relationship, we can better appreciate how electromagnetic forces have shaped everything in our environment, from the smallest particles to the largest structures. We discover a strong parallel between the creation story found in the Bible and the fundamental ideas of quantum physics in our investigation into the origin of the universe. The passage, "Then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light," appears in the book of Genesis. God distinguished between the light and the dark after determining that the light was good. Genesis 1:3-5. This text presents a fascinating reading of darkness as nothing more than the absence of light. That is, photon particles in the visible spectrum between 400 and 700 nanometers. Was God, in separating the light from the darkness, introducing the electromagnetic spectrum and space itself, the dark expanse we see? From the biblical narrative of Genesis, it is evident that light was the fundamental element created first. This light is not just a physical illumination, but the foundational force essential for the creation of everything else. The subsequent acts of creation, the sky, the earth, the oceans, celestial bodies, living creatures, and ultimately humans, were all built upon this initial introduction of light. The necessity of light in binding particles together aligns seamlessly with the laws of quantum physics, where electromagnetism plays a crucial role in the formation of matter. Moreover, the creation of humans is portrayed as the pinnacle of this divine process. Humans, uniquely endowed with the capacity for consciousness and self-awareness, reflect a higher level of complexity and purpose. This conscious ability to think and reason sets Homo sapiens apart as the only beings capable of profound intellectual and spiritual reflection. Thus, the biblical account of creation, when viewed through the lens of modern science, highlights a fascinating synthesis of spiritual and physical principles. Light, as the first act of creation, is not only a biblical metaphor, but a scientific reality that underpins the existence of the universe. This harmonious blend of divine wisdom and quantum mechanics underscores the intricate design and profound intelligence inherent in the creation of all things. The most conscious beings on the planet, humans, naturally lead us to ponder profound questions about the nature of consciousness itself. Given that our existence and the physical universe are governed by the laws of quantum physics, a fascinating inquiry arises. Is consciousness related to quantum physics, or is it something supernatural? Chapter 6. The Quantic Nature of Consciousness. Consciousness is the vibrant essence of our existence, the vivid tapestry that threads through our awareness of ourselves and the world around us. It is the state of being fully attuned to our own thoughts, emotions, and sensations, as well as to the myriad stimuli that our environment presents. Envision it as a symphony of thought waves, harmoniously blending the notes of our internal reflections with the external symphony of life. It is not merely passive awareness, but an active, dynamic engagement with both our inner and outer worlds. Consciousness allows us to introspect, ponder our own mental processes, and extend our empathy and understanding to the thoughts and feelings of others. It is the continuous dance of perception and introspection, defining our reality and our place within it. Quantum physics, the intricate study of the fundamental particles that constitute the universe, unveils a reality far more wondrous than the one perceived by our senses. At its core, quantum physics reveals that everything in existence is composed of vibrating strings of energy. These minuscule particles, the building blocks of matter, are not solid entities but rather dynamic oscillations of energy. This revolutionary understanding dismantles the classical notion of a solid, predictable universe and replaces it with a realm of possibilities and probabilities. Consciousness appears as a key participant in this intriguing quantum universe. Like the vibrating strings of energy that quantum physics describes, consciousness is an energy form in and of itself. This viewpoint suggests that our ideas and awareness are not only passive reflections of reality, but also active players in its construction, bridging the gap between the material and the mental. Think about the ramifications. If the mind is a type of energy, it functions inside the same quantum framework that controls matter and energy in general. According to this alignment, there is a basic way in which our goals, ideas, and awareness can affect the structure of reality. Similar to how quantum particles can exist in several states at once and alter their behavior in response to observation, our awareness has the power to influence how we perceive the world. This link implies that reality is a flexible canvas molded by the energetic vibrations of our consciousness rather than a set concept. Our goals and thoughts are the paintbrushes with which we paint our individual and shared experiences. This hypothesis suggests that the world around us is in part a manifestation of our inner states, which is consistent with the idea that awareness generates reality. The synthesis of consciousness and quantum physics presents an image of a highly networked universe that is sensitive to the energies of our awareness and ideas. It pushes us to reevaluate our place in the universe as active co-creators instead of passive observers, with the ability to shape and change our reality with the energy of our awareness. Renowned scientist Max Planck, a trailblazer in the field of quantum theory, put forth a thought-provoking viewpoint that contradicts accepted notions about the nature of reality. According to Planck, awareness is essential to existence itself and not only a result of physical processes. In his opinion, matter originates from awareness rather than being on its own. This groundbreaking theory asks us to reevaluate how mind and matter interact, arguing that awareness is the source from which all physical reality develops. Planck's claim is supported by a number of philosophical and scientific investigations, especially the idea that our thoughts and consciousness are fundamental in determining our world. A common way to think about this is to say that we attract what we focus on. Our intents, beliefs, and mental states are not static phenomena, but rather dynamic forces that interact with the cosmos. The notion that consciousness creates reality implies that our inner world, the realm of thoughts, feelings, and intentions, has a direct impact on the external world. This idea is supported by numerous studies and anecdotal evidence suggesting that individuals can influence their experiences and surroundings through focused thought and intention. For instance, practices such as meditation, visualization, and positive thinking are often cited for their transformative effects on personal well-being and life circumstances. In many spiritual traditions, God is often equated with or described as consciousness. This perspective can be found across various religions and philosophical systems where the divine is seen as the ultimate source of awareness, intelligence, and existence. Here are a few examples. Hinduism. In Hindu philosophy, particularly in the Vedanta tradition, Brahman is considered the ultimate reality and consciousness. Brahman is described as the infinite, omnipresent consciousness that underlies all existence. The Upanishads, ancient Hindu scriptures, state Tat Tvam Asi, that thou art, implying that individual consciousness is ultimately one with the universal consciousness. Buddhism. While Buddhism does not traditionally emphasize the concept of a creator God, it does focus heavily on the nature of consciousness. In some Mahayana texts, the Buddha nature, which is inherent in all beings, is described as pure, primordial consciousness. Taoism. In Taoism, the Tao is often described as an underlying principle that is the source of all that exists. While not explicitly defined as consciousness in the same way as in other traditions, the Tao encompasses the idea of a fundamental, ineffable reality that aligns closely with the concept of a universal conscious essence. Christian mysticism. In Christian mysticism, God is often experienced and described in terms that align closely with consciousness. Mystics like Meister Eckhart spoke of God as the ground of being and consciousness itself. The concept of the Logos in Christian theology, referring to the word or divine reason, also aligns with the idea of a divine, conscious principle underpinning reality. Islamic mysticism, Sufism. Sufi mystics often describe God as the ultimate, all-encompassing reality and consciousness. The concept of Wahdat al-Wujud, unity of existence, emphasizes that all existence is a manifestation of God's consciousness. New Age and modern spirituality. Many modern spiritual movements and New Age philosophies explicitly describe God or the divine as pure consciousness. This view often emphasizes the interconnectedness of all life and the idea that individual consciousness is a part of a greater, universal consciousness. The idea that God is consciousness is a common theme in many spiritual traditions. This view posits that the divine is not separate from the essence of awareness and existence, but is fundamentally intertwined with it. It highlights the belief that the ultimate reality is a conscious, intelligent presence that permeates and sustains all of creation. Conclusion. In essence, delving into the realms of quantum consciousness and spirituality unveils a landscape of intricacies and complexities. The unfolding of scientific evidence in this domain holds the promise of revealing even more captivating insights. Considering the vast capacity of science and physics to elucidate phenomena within the framework of its protocols, we anticipate forthcoming revelations with great anticipation. To culminate this audiobook, it becomes apparent that the understanding of everything as energy extends to encompass our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. These intangible aspects of our existence, resonating with vibrational frequencies, exert a profound influence on the quantum fields underlying the fabric of reality. Consequently, our consciousness, attitudes, and focus possess the remarkable ability to shape the outcomes of physical manifestations. From a scientific standpoint, this notion underscores the formidable power of the mind to mold the appearance of our physical reality. As we reflect on the advancements of science, we are reminded of its role in providing us with theories and equations that enable the unification of natural forces. Through these intellectual pursuits, we are granted a glimpse into the very mind of the divine, unraveling the mysteries of existence and our place within the cosmos.
And I